Yo, what up? And welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 2013. I just read a George Carlin quote, and it was funny, man. It's just, I think atheists should get their own TV show called Atheists Say the Darndest Things. I'm just kidding, because unlike the mainstream media, I don't really think it's that funny to expose stupid people. I know it's messed up, man. If you totally humiliate someone on TV, I don't know if they'll ever be the same anymore after that. You know, God tells us in the Bible to take care of each other's reputations. Yep, tells us to have a lot of respect. Do you guys remember that word? I don't know if anyone's ever even used that word in this year. I don't know. Whenever I even say the word respect, people you could see the demons trying to run out of them, and they're just constantly wrestling against themselves on what words even are. Sometimes I say the darndest things, and it's because I hear the way some atheists talk, and I'm just like, man, it's a lot of unintentional comedy, man. When you're debating a evolutionist as a creationist, like when you debate a evolutionist, man, you're just like, man, if only you read the Bible, man, you would know how funny that sounded when you said that, because you would know that what you just said, that's the point. Like, you would say something like that. I can make plenty of examples, but anyways, I'm here to read you the news. I got WND in front of me. This is from the last video I just made about how WND just reported about George Zimmerman rescuing a family of 4. Now, MSNBC, I guess, has come out and said that, and they're like making conspiracy theories up. But anyways, I'll read this. WND under the column Politics, if you want to come look at this for yourself. It is under WND.com under the column Politics, or you can find it on the front page. And it is by Joe Kovacs. Zimmerman accused of causing crash for rescue. George want to act like he's Superman to some she. I didn't say it, haha, I said she. But that's what it says there. See, somebody wants to start getting brave and start talking like ridiculous stuff, man. I mean, it's funny. It's just funny that, you gotta hate on the guy just because some, in my opinion, misguided opinions. News that George Zimmerman helped rescue a family of 4 trapped in a rollover accident last week in Florida has sparked accusations that Zimmerman actually caused the accident in order to look like a hero. As WND reported, the crash took place last Wednesday at the intersection of I-4 and Route 417 in Sanford, Florida, less than a mile from where Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office said Mark and Dana Gerstel and their 2 children were in a Ford Explorer SUV when it went off the road and rolled over. A responding deputy reported that when he arrived, Zimmerman and another man helped the 2 parents and 2 children out of the vehicle. By the time a deputy arrived, Zimmerman and another man had already helped assist the family by getting them out of the overturned vehicle, Sheriff spokeswoman Heather Smith told the Orlando Sentinel. Zimmerman was not a witness to the crash and left after making contact with the deputy, Smith said. There was no report or injuries to the vehicle occupants. Twitter has now lit up with suggestions that Zimmerman was personally responsible for causing the crash, with tweets including, "What did they tell you? Zimmerman was following the car and caused the crash? Zimmerman probably shot the tires out and caused the truck to flip over. All of a sudden, Zimmerman want to act like he's Superman or some I bet he caused the accident in the first place." It just sounds like a lot of hating to me. Even as the original conspiracy theory began showing up, conservatives on Twitter preferred, I guess he meant to write here. I don't think you wrote that right. Preferred their own narrative. I have typos every once in a while too. You know what that's like. Using the hashtag MSNBC tonight to predict how that network would further the Zimmerman caused the accident theory during primetime. Chris Matthews details how Zimmerman always wanted to be Mad Max and actually caused the wreck, wrote Bob Thompson. On Monday, talk radio host Rush Limbaugh had predicted leftists would claim the accident and rescue were staged. Yeah, he would, actually. I don't even listen to that guy, but I kind of already know from what people tell me about him, and I always read his quotes and stuff. Rush Limbaugh seems to be, not too bad, I guess. I don't know who he is, but when he says something, it's kind of on the money. How long will it be before the left claims the whole accident was scripted, he asked. The Zimmerman haters will say this whole thing is staged, probably rehearsed. This was a setup so Zimmerman could look good. That's what they said about. Isn't that what a lot of the like UFC fans said about Anderson Silva when he finally lost to to Chris Weidman? It's like, I don't know, man. I know it's like two different things, politics and sports, but I'm just saying it kind of sounds like the same thing when you want someone to win so bad and they don't. You don't want to believe that it actually happened. You want to blame it on some type of that it was staged, or and it's just like, no, dude, it is what it is. There was probable cause. You should learn how to read a book and then read a law book and then find out how the judicial system works, because that whole thing is a very gray. I wouldn't call it a gray area, but it's just that they can't just prosecute someone without legit evidence. Whether you wanted, because if you believe that he racially profiled Trayvon, I don't even know where to begin with that. Where is the evidence of that that he's that type of person? This isn't Minority Report, I'm not going to pretend and be erroneous and say that, oh yeah, because you look like a black MTV typical gangbang brainwashed person, and I'm not trying to be racist, because there's brainwashed Hispanics and whites out there. There's brainwashed everybody. I'm not going to just, I have friends like that, and I know it's because I don't judge people, okay? Maybe you should do less judging of other people and then look in the mirror and say, how can I contribute to society, but without having to raise more problems, like someone's black and I don't like that, or someone's white and I don't like that, and it's just ridiculous. Get over yourself. You're not, it's like you think you don't stink. I guess is like the main word here for this freaking video, but anyways, on Tuesday, Limbaugh noted his prediction came true. It's now beyond Twitter. It has reached liberal broadcast media. Limbaugh said that liberal broadcast media is now openly accusing the Zimmerman camp of staging the whole thing, particularly since no one was hurt. As an example, he pointed to CNN host Chris Cuomo. He pointed to his question on Monday night of Zimmerman's defense attorney, Mark O'Mara. Is it true that you saw George after this incident and he did not mention it to you? Cuomo asked. Limbaugh said Cuomo's clear implication was he didn't mention it because it was all made up. That's what Chris Cuomo is thinking now. Limbaugh explained Tuesday the political left will always tell us what they fear, and they will always tell us what they do. Their accusations against us illustrate what they would do when they say this whole thing was staged. It occurred to them because it's something they would do. Limbaugh said sarcastically, of course the Tea Party is behind it. The Republican Party is behind it. Before it's all over, the royal family will have had something to do with it. Before it's all over, the royal family will have had something to do with it. Sorry, I'm not the greatest reader, man. I know it could be. I don't like particularly listening to people who stutter a lot. Like either it could be annoying. So thank you for being patient with me. I'm not the most informed person, but it's cool that you can go and you can just start looking at stuff for yourself and discerning for yourself and figuring it all out for yourself, getting the hint, because I'm not the smartest dude, I'm telling you. Regarding details of the accident, the sheriff's office told WND the 2004 Ford Explorer SUV was traveling northbound on the off-ramp of State Road 417 at State Road 400. Mark Gerstle then lost control of the vehicle, causing it to go off-road and rolled over. The tires and brakes were not worn and were not an influence in the accident. The vehicle also did not have any airbag deployment. No photos of the vehicle are available. A lot of this stuff I read, or just that sentence at least, on my last video, just making it clear that it had nothing to do with the car. The rescue is the first known public sighting of Zimmerman since a jury found him not guilty of murder in the death of Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman, 29 years old, shot and killed Martin, 17, in Sanford, Florida on February 26, 2012. The jury determined that Zimmerman shot Martin in self-defense. It's funny because they have a picture of him and he's young, right? But why do I hear a bunch of people saying that he wasn't little? Like he wasn't a little kid when he fought Zimmerman. I mean, I guess only Zimmerman could tell you, I guess, like how big he was and what he looked like. But on the news, he looks like a little kid. And I find it hard to believe that a little kid can mount a grown man and make him, flail for almost a minute, getting his head bounced off the ground. I would be like, no way, dude. You know, I've seen some pretty big high school kids, and as someone who practices mixed martial arts, age has nothing to do with fighting. If you're good when you're 18 years old, you can fight pro. A lot of people start off really young fighting, growing up in taekwondo, wrestling, but that's not the point. The point is, I don't know if you're physically able, no matter who you are, at a certain age. I don't know if you could take down a grown man, and that should be pretty embarrassing for you if you are a grown man and you do get taken down by an adolescent. That's pretty embarrassing for you. So, the verdict prompted dozens of protests across America this past weekend, and his lawyers have said Zimmerman has received numerous death threats, prompting him to wear a bulletproof vest when he goes out into public. At least one protest in Houston has been in favor of Zimmerman. So there's videos. Zimmerman's parents told ABC News that they too had received death threats and have been unable to return to their home. We have had an enormous amount of death threats. Georgia's legal counsel has had death threats. The police chief of Sanford. Many people have had death threats. Zimmerman's father, Robert Zimmerman, said, "Everyone with Georgia's DNA should be killed. Just every kind of horrible thing you can imagine." So yeah, of course, the liberal left media is going to want you to believe that a conspiracy theory that they invented is actually the truth. Of course they're going to do that because it doesn't fit their agenda to say that Zimmerman was acting on self-defense. Since I was a little kid, since I was like in elementary school, don't ask me how I can remember. I remember things from when I was like 4 years old. I don't know why, but I just can remember things like that. But when I was a little kid in elementary school, I used to really wonder about that. When I was a little kid, I'm like, why is it okay for people to bully other people? But when somebody tries to say, "Hey, step off," it becomes you. You become the problem because you're standing up for yourself. And it was everyone around me, man. And when I think about it, I feel like getting loud. I feel like yelling about it because it is. I feel for any kid that goes to elementary school and that has somebody that tries to take advantage of him because he's either smaller than them or whatever, because the kid's grows up a little rougher and the other kid has lunch money or something, whatever, dude. Whenever I know that there's a little kid being picked on in school and he can't even say something for himself, or else he's the problem because he's standing up for himself, it's so ridiculous, dude. It's happened to me a lot throughout. I got in a lot of fights growing up in school, and until I got to high school. And I got to high school, I completely turned into a different person. I was nice to everyone. But growing up in elementary and middle school, I did not give anyone room to think that they had any space to mess with me. And that was just like that. I grew up kind of on the street. That's why I became a fighter, because I grew up on the street fighting. It was just for fun, though. Not like street fights, but actual like regulated type boxing matches since I was a little kid. So I'm a fighter, but that's just for sport. I don't do it going around, I'm not going around bowing up to people because I know how to fight. I'm the opposite of that. I can't stand people who pick on weaker people, mentally or physically. You don't do that. You uplift and empower people. And that's the problem with America, is that you have so many people out there that learn helplessness, and then they tell you have the right to remain ignorant. They just troll the whole liberty movement like it doesn't mean anything. It does mean everything. It means absolutely everything. You lose your liberty, you lose everything that we know of. I was reading about how, would you like to live like the people who live in, there's a place called Yida, Sudan. That's like right south of Egypt, I believe. Would you like to go see what it's like to be a Christian over there? Would you like to see what it's like to just go and be a regular person that doesn't like going around killing other people over there? It's intense. It's intense. It's one of the hardest places to live on earth, right there, if you're especially a Christian. But but people out there, dude, they'll still praise God and go to church and keep their heads up. Always having Arabs and their natives fighting against each other, and having Islam being the pushed on them and all that, dude. They're still there with smiles on their faces, man. That should inspire you, and it should make you not so helpless and a victim like Barack Obama. That could have been me. That could have been me. It's absolutely ridiculous, you guys. Don't fall for all this garbage, and have a nice day. I'll be probably back later on. Who knows? See ya. Peace.